Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is Wank Williams.
Junior?
Yeah.
And the third.
Mm-hmm. And the
turd. God damn it, I was saying this.
The turd.
The toid.
Wank Williams, the toid.
Yeah.
Aaron Joseph Pita.
That's me, dude.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Hanging in there.
Hanging tough.
Yeah, the new kid's on the block.
NKOTB, baby.
New kid's on the cock.
Oh.
See.
Please don't go, girl. Please don't go, girl.
Please don't go, girl. Yeah.
Stay guy.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a gay anti-trans song.
Please don't go, girl.
You don't want to do that.
Stay guy.
Come on. What are you doing?
How am I going to be gay if you turn girl?
Yeah. In parentheses, don't make a straight out of me.
Well, strong
The
stuff.
white stuff.
Oh.
Matt,
Hi.
you're on my right.
Mm-hmm.
On my left, John.
Yeah. Handsome Matt Brousseau, everybody.
Hello.
Christopher Cucumbus.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's from Paul.
Christopher Cucumbus?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Ain't it just like Paul to recommend something like that?
It is just like Paul. Way to go, Paul.
Just like Paul.
Yeah.
I like your style, dude.
I like yours.
I thought of I thought of one about 2 minutes ago. Just a famous football coach, Shardy Martinheimer.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Or recently deceased Hall of Fame linebacker Dick Butkus.
Yeah.
Just Dick Butkus.
Yeah.
Just all good.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
And his son.
And his son?
Yeah.
What's his son? Cock butt kiss?
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Daughter.
Yeah. his, son,
Clit Butkus.
his son turned daughter clit butt kiss.
And their dog Turd.
Oh.
Gentlemen,
Uh-huh.
it's good to see you, fellas.
You too.
Likewise.
I want to,
Is this airing on Halloween?
I remember Halloween.
No, Halloween's on like a Monday.
This year
Tuesday?
Halloween, but on a weekend.
You ain't get no boys to trick or treat.
So this episode comes right after Halloween?
Couple days.
It's Thursday. We release on Thursdays.
Well, here's Elvira.
Hey.
Well, I mean, she's, all seasons.
Dude,
Like
honestly,
a good tire.
evergreen.
Yeah.
Yes, eternal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, check out our Etsy store and buy a shirt, man.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Those are cool.
Fucking buy a shirt, man.
Hey. And check us out on Patreon. Of course, we do an extra episode. $5 a month. I mean, pretty good deal.
Yeah. Mix it up, a little potpourri.
Today, gentlemen, I'm going to be telling you about some trashy, tawdry, tasteless,
On this show?
Irish bullshit.
Oh, boy, here we go. Something you heard seventh hand.
What the fuck? Why? Why would you say that?
Yeah, fucking
Do a lot of research.
6 hand jobs down the line, and the 7th one comes, and he's like, this tastes like a good
Yeah,
story.
I learned a lot here.
God.
Tawdry like that?
Tawdry.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Let's hear it, man.
Well,
Can only go up from here.
yeah, fuck.
We set the bar real low for you.
Uh-huh.
So I want to tell you about a young gentleman. His name is Martin Cahill.
Cahill?
Yeah, you can say Cahill if you want. You know
the proper way is Cahill.
Cahill is the way, yes.
Got it.
Martin Cahill.
Martin Cahill.
He was born on May 23rd, my friend Jesse's birthday, in 1949
Good year.
in Dublin. So he's growing up in Dublin just 2 years younger than my dad. His father was a laborer,
Oh, good. Okay.
and he got a job as a lighthouse keeper.
The son
old
did-
man,
The
the
old
old
man.
The mother stayed home to look after the kids, which there was 15 of.
Holy Christ.
Fucking Christ. Body wrecked.
What the fuck?
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's wrecked. It sounds like she's fucking going strong to me.
Dude, he's looking at that lighthouse for a new womb
Yeah.
coming over the...
He's used to Rex. That's why he's in charge.
God damn.
Jesus.
15 children?
And
She was never not
poor
pregnant.
woman.
12 survived.
Okay.
So she's never not around trauma or hysterics.
Yeah, the Dirty Dozen.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's pretty cool, right?
No.
What do you mean, no? This is my people, dude.
Well, John,
fucking dare you?
You should talk to them.
Popping kids out is an old-timey tradition, man.
Well, knock it off.
You're getting up to it. Come on.
One.
Look, I've already had mine.
Yeah. Oh, you get up to it big time. I don't
Yeah,
wanna,
you're
I
the
don't
most
wanna hear
guilty out of
fucking-
all of us. You're honorary Irish.
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Yo, you're a citizen.
Different mothers.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Honorary Irish is so good.
Yeah.
Different mothers.
Oh, dude. Now don't bring race into this.
Yeah. You do it all kinky, too. You go into a cup.
Yeah.
Talk to a lady.
I go to the colleges.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get money. The whole thing's all fucked up the way you do it.
It's legitimate.
Welfare king.
I farewell.
We're going to be dealing with some major welfare king shit.
Cool.
Fantastic.
It's pretty cool. But so Martin Cahill's father would
Wait, I'm sorry. 1 second. Aaron, can you turn that stereo down?
Yeah. Dad.
What are you listening to music right now? Come on, man.
Well, there's an Irish tune that came on, and
Hi.
Billy Irish came on.
Oh my God!
No, he did it over there.
Fucking 4 minutes into the show.
Off mic.
If you guys haven't been paying attention, Aaron has been doing a stereotypical Asian accent every episode for like 30 episodes straight. At some point,
So you're the rat. What do you want?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna think about.
Did you guys hear it?
oh
Yeah.
everybody heard it.
You don't like Billy Irish?
Yeah, I do.
I said it without thinking that it.
Well, yeah. That's your problem.
I wasn't intoning.
It's not my point. I can zone in on great opportunities to do something racist.
What do you want, man? I'm lasered in on these things. Instinct at this point.
Oh Christ!
But so his father would he would take to the bottle, despairing about not being able to feed the family. So then he would spend more money and
Not
drink.
continue to not feed them.
Yes.
Yeah.
15 fucking kids.
Insane.
Try the ass.
So he was good tip though. That was a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
So with his brothers John, Eddie, Anthony, Michael, and Patty, Martin started committing burglaries. And this at first was straight up just to feed the children.
Uh-huh.
There's no food. The guy drank it all. You know what I
But
mean?
you can't feed the kids the cigarettes you stole.
Yeah. Well, no, they were just stealing food, and then so he got his first arrest at age 12. Arrested for larceny. That was just a warning, and then he just kept getting after it, and he was convicted of 2 burglary charges, and he was sentenced to 1 month of detention in Marlborough House, Glasnevin.
Hmm.
And it was his first time being locked up away from his family, and
Peace and quiet.
he he would still be sent to some more institutions in the years to come. It wasn't slowing him down, and in 1967 he was considered a professional burglar.
He was like 18. Oh,
It sounds right.
Yeah, he was born. What did I say? 49.
Okay.
Yeah. Good math, man. Jesus, fucking what a show off over here.
Billy Irish over here.
Yeah. Him and his brothers were doing this at night, and they were in they had been relocated to the Hollyfield buildings in Rathmines, which was a suburb in the south side of Dublin, and they said that the Hollyfield buildings were like places that it was the last stop before homelessness.
Oh, so they were like Marcy Project.
Really bleak tenement shit. Yeah. But he loved it. And he's like, it's the place where I feel safe, and also like, how those places have like that sense of community and like
Yeah, it's
tight knittedness.
Yeah, that's the only way. It's the only thing holding the building together.
yeah.
Yeah.
The favelas.
So he was, I'm sorry, I'm going to switch back and forth here between a few different things I want to reference. And him and his brothers teamed up with this other gang called the Duns, and they were also brothers. Dunnes last name. But their thing was armed robbery. And so then they started doing some heists and shit. You know what I mean? The fucking ante got upped a little bit. You know what I'm saying, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. I do.
But he, the one time, like, there was one point where before this, he was like he maybe had a chance to not hit this life, and he wanted to get into the Royal Navy at like age 15, but when he skipped a lot of school,
Yeah.
so he
Prison.
prison, stealing, being truant, whatever. So he was like he signed up to be a bugler, thinking that they wanted a burglar. So he thought the Royal Navy wanted.
They need a professional thief.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, I can do that.
Spycraft.
I can do that for you.
Yeah.
And
It says it right here, burglar.
Yeah. That's really how it went down.
Dude, that's so funny.
So they were like, get the fuck out of here. They were like, oh, you have a criminal record?
Leave that here.
Yeah. Watch him on the way
Yeah,
out.
they're like, where's your instrument? He's like, I'll get you one. What do you want?
So yeah, not the hottest,
I mean, he could have been probably a great bugler with nimble fingers.
Oh, you want a chef? I thought you wanted a chief.
When he was 16, he got convicted to 2 burglaries, and that's when he went to the like what they called it's like a prison school kind of thing. Nice. He got out and he married this girl, Frances Lawless, was her name.
Oh,
And she took his last name, is what you're saying.
any relation to Lucy?
And he, the way it's gonna come out is, he's going to be married to Frances Lawless, and then he is also going to be having a second thing going on with her sister Tina.
Oh,
And that is like completely understood, and
by both parties?
yeah, and they'll share the bed.
Like all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew you'd love it, you fucking sick fuck.
dude, he's really just married to lawlessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they supposedly like wore the same clothes and had the same hair and shit. It was all fucked up.
Where did you? Oh god.
So did he just use the last name in bed?
His name is Cahill.
Yeah.
No, his name's Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were so now with the Duns they were starting to rob Securicorps vans, like armored car robberies type shit, you know what I mean? So one of the things they would do is these guys would be like getting the fucking cash out of the van. The one person, would be supposed to be like kind of like alert and covering or whatever, and then like a woman would come up with like walking alongside with their baby or whatever.
She'd be like, me and my sister, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Hey.
And they'd be like, what?
I know. Suddenly they would see the fucking woman was a guy and the baby was a shotgun.
Oh.
And then and so I think one of those robberies, it was at that time in like 1970, like fucking the highest like cash robbery in Irish history. It was about £1 million. So that's a good now that's nice.
My baby.
Yeah.
Give me that money.
You can get a lot of sisters for that kind of money.
Oof.
But yeah, he also had this thing with like, he loved the Hollyfield buildings and he did feel really safe there, and you also kind of can gain a reputation in those places, you know what I mean? Because like they also breed like a no snitching kind of thing. So, it's very much how it's portrayed in The Wire.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everybody on the street knows what's going on, but nobody outside knows what's going on.
It's its own little bubble.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And is he, he's probably giving them money, maybe?
Might be spreading the wealth a
he's
little bit?
certainly been portrayed as a Robin Hood figure in a lot of media.
Okay.
Stealing from one sister, stealing from the other.
Dude, yeah, it was only like at first I was like, it sounded like it was a tolerated mistress situation, and then later on I found out like, oh no, like the three of them were getting down.
Oh,
Well, he's used to siblings. He has so many.
Yeah. You don't want to be alone,
Yeah.
Aaron.
so cold.
Yeah.
Sucks so bad when you're alone.
God, that's really.
You really like that, don't you?
It's debauched,
It's quite debauched. It is quite debauched.
which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Back in those days.
Oh, yeah. You need all the warmth you can get.
So yeah, he's doing stuff with the Duns, and he and the burglaries continued too. He just like loved the fucking buzz of it. You know what I mean? And he was making thousands of pounds. He's in a council estate, and
Which means like state housing.
yes, the projects, and so he's got like a motorcycle, like a Harley, and like a Mercedes parked at the projects, which are sticking out like a sore thumb, but also like nobody's fucking with it because everybody knows who he is. But yeah, he was doing these fucking these robberies and stuff, and there was one guy, Dr. James Donovan, and he was head of all of forensic science in Ireland, like doing forensic science for the country. Anything happening, one guy.
Got it.
Typical Ireland shit. And he was really good, and he had put away Eddie and Anthony Cahill. And in 1981, Cahill and this guy Dutton robbed Quinton Flynn Limited, and it was they made like whatever $6,000, and they rode off on a motorcycle, and they took their helmets and their gloves. They found them, the cops found them, but they didn't find the money, so they had to spring them loose. But they were getting to like examine the hairs and shit like that, and so Martin is like, he's like, this guy put away two of my brothers, and he's terrified, right? So he goes to the INLA, right? Our old friends, the INLA, and he's like, can you make me a bomb? And I think whatever, that doesn't work or whatever, like it doesn't go off or whatever. I think then he finally just gets one himself. Yeah. And it blows off the doctor's foot. It goes off in his car while he's driving, blows off his foot.
Because he mailed it to him or something?
No, he put it under his car.
Oh, he just good old fashioned under the car.
Car bomb.
Now, who's famous for doing that?
Well, yeah, he was
old fashioned.
I believe it's Americans are famous for doing that now.
But he they started looking around, and investigations started pointing to Cahill, and he was still doing armed robberies like the day before. Like they said like about this guy that he would like commit a highly successful heist and then still go out at night and burgle houses.
Well,
like, he just loved it.
One's work, one's you do what you love.
Yeah. One pays the bills, the other
keeps you satisfied.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So they picked him up in connection to the bombing of Dr. Donovan, and there wasn't enough evidence, and they also had to spring him for the robbery that he was worried about with with the guy on the motorcycle with the $6,000 they stole or whatever, and now he's getting like a real reputation. You know what I mean? Because now you've like gone after a cop, basically. And the thing is that like that is going to remain an aspect of his eccentricity, is that like this guy is always deliberately trying to make the police absolutely humiliated.
Yeah.
And
it is pretty funny that he like tried to kill the one guy who would be able to solve that particular crime. Like get the one forensics guy.
Yeah.
He'll not ever be able to like dissect the bomb.
Yeah. There's not a single other guy out there who knows about hair.
The only guy who could have solved it is the guy he killed.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I keep losing my space here.
Take him another 20 years to make another guy like that.
Not Cahill's mom.
Yeah.
She got one in the chamber.
Yeah, I know, the whole family.
So there was a thing too where like he also had this like reputation as far as like keeping people in line, and there was a thing where a guy was supposed to deliver some money from some robbery, but he like disappeared for like 2 weeks, and then it was like he was back in town, and before he could talk to Martin had him picked up off the street, and he took him to a house in Hollyfield. And he started questioning him, and then he didn't like what he was hearing, and he started slapping him around. And then he stapled each of the guy's fingers to the floor, and then he started driving nails into his hands, doing a big old crucifixion on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah. And the guy was still like, I didn't do anything. And then he goes, all right, I'll take you to the hospital. And so he takes the guy to the hospital.
Yeah, you're not so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he goes...
I want to turn you into Jesus or something.
His thing was like he goes, people remember pain. He goes, a bullet in the head is too easy. He goes, if they did wrong and they felt pain, they'll remember the pain the next time they're going to do wrong. So this is like kind of the ethos. Even though there's not a ton of violence associated with him, it's kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the crimes, like you'll see, like there's not really like a lot of malicious murdering or like really
mayhem.
Yeah, abusing hostages or stuff like that. Even though people are taken hostage for sure.
I mean, what else are you gonna do with them?
Yeah. But yeah, and he never was getting into drugs, because at this time that was also becoming a thing. And Martin never drank because of his dad. So the whole time he's doing this, he's stone cold sober, just a guy that fucks a couple sisters.
Just drunk on sister pussy.
Yeah. And he's so he's just kind of living that whole lifestyle. It's gonna fuck you up so good.
Who needs drugs?
Yeah.
The whole point of drugs is to get that.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be having sex and you go, you remind me of, and then he'll roll over.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Maniacal, bro.
It's perverted.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty.
Where did they meet?
They met in
where did they meet, John?
Like I said, they met when they were 16, or he was 16 at least, and it was in Hollyfield in the projects.
So they were just hood rats.
The total hood rats. Yeah, started getting into hood rat shit.
Oh, it's fun to do hood rat shit with your friends.
Dude, it sounds like it's
sister.
extra fun.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's real
Tons
fun.
of fun.
You know what I mean? But he'll go on now to start, planning bigger and bigger heists because he's doing so well. And you have to remember at this time that, the conflict in the North is taking all of that shit.
The action's up there.
The action's up there. So nobody's thinking about organized crime in Dublin.
Right.
And then it's only like kind of like when they start seeing like how bigger and bigger and bigger and more successful it gets, that they realize, like, oh fuck, we got a problem down here, and then it becomes quite brazen in a way that they just keep like breaking records for like the biggest heist in the country's history, and it's all the same guys, like the same couple of guys. So like, it's fucking completely out of hand.
The top 10 biggest most money stolen.
Yeah,
it's just the same guys.
Yeah, it's like Will Chamberlain.
Yeah,
like most points in a game.
Yeah,
most points per season.
Most sexual partners.
Yeah. It's all one guy got all the records. But most sisters in
in one night.
Oh boy.
But the thing is that
one bed.
Everybody kind of knows that they're all like esteemed criminals. But Martin becomes known for being the guy that goes over every single detail of every job that's going to happen and does dry runs and has every man just quoting everything that happens at every time and like knows the plan by heart.
Nice.
And he develops the name the General.
Nice.
And so because of Irish libel laws, you know, you can't name somebody if he's never been proven to do this shit.
Right.
So they start talking about him in the papers as the General.
Right.
You know? So everybody knows who's doing it, and they know that there's this guy, but they can't say his name.
Yeah, this guy, he's fucking my 2 sisters. And I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
The General's been fucking my sisters.
Yeah.
And they're fucking each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give you their names. Wait, maybe I won't.
Lieutenants.
I just want to line something else up, so let's take a quick break, okay?
Okay.
Be right back, folks. And we're back. Yeah, boys. Nice, guys. Nice.
We're like 2 sisters.
2 sisters I'm about to fuck up with a story.
Hell yeah.
Now,
That's too small.
pray tell, was this man a particularly handsome man?
No.
Did he have 2 dicks?
He is funny. He's funny.
It goes a long way. We can all attest to that.
And a girthy.
Yeah, it's thick.
Yeah, but he was like kind of like, you know, a shorter, pudgy, red-faced Irish man, you know, like
John,
Got it.
please.
Greasy.
greasy. What the fuck are you adding adjectives on for?
I feel like there's just
I feel like
Yeah, what? I just feel like
like that.
probably.
no. He's like, you know, he's like one of those like, you know, he's charming. Like journalists met him and stuff,
Yeah.
and they were like, they're like, this guy's a fucking character.
I'd fuck him.
And that's gonna like propel him to like borderline like rock star level. Because now, you know, he's gonna get to the point where he's able to publicly make fun of them. Because like I'm saying, his profile is rising in the tabloids.
Profiles rising.
You're hearing about this guy, the fucking General, and so you know he's up to some shit. So when finally like he's like gonna be confronted with it. And then he's kind of charming. It's on.
Yeah.
You know.
God, he must have charmed the pants off those sisters.
And that he talks about you know in a thing where he would talk about like things that happened with this guy from GQ. And he would say it like he would talk about it like he can't say like I did it because blah blah blah. But
General.
But he would say like that Donovan guy, the forensic guy. He goes, you know, like he goes. I've had things where, like, you know, they try to frame me up for shit where, like, they said, oh, the burglar must have gone through this fucking bunch of dirt and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and, like, but the shoes that the guy that I was caught with were clean, you know what I mean? And you know, like, he's like, one of the witnesses said they heard me, you know, fucking, like, my you know, shoes running away down the street. But he goes, but the shoes I had on were hush puppies. He's like, the whole thing, like, the jury was the ones that, like, actually put on the shoes and, like, went, like, yeah. And we're like, okay, so, like, this is the kind of thing he's, like, the kind of street logic that he's, like, justifying going after a guy and putting a bomb under his car.
Yeah. Plus a cool day for the jury where they all get out and do sprints in the alleyway.
And when he's asked about some of the other violent stuff, he says things like, he goes like, listen, if you're talking to the cops,
Fair game.
torture's warranted. Because there was supposed to be something like where like he skinned a guy's knees or like, you know, his fucking...
Oh, they're playing basketball?
His shins or something like that, you know?
Road rash. Give him mean raspberry.
Yeah,
burn.
he gave him a noogie.
Yeah.
Oh.
He saw a buggy and he punched him.
Fucking whirly. What are they called? Swirlies?
Swirly, yeah.
Yeah, they probably have running toilets in their tenements anyways. Gave him a swirly in an outhouse. It's just a dunk. It's just a chocolate dipped cone.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, he so, you know, the Securicorps van was, like I said, the biggest at its time for about $1 million. And but then in '83 he had gone on this place called O'Connor's Jewelry, and they just knew the right time to go, man. They went in with smoke bombs, walkie-talkies, guns, vans, motorbikes, and they cleaned out Ireland's largest jewelry factory.
Oh my god!
Jewelry factory, and
they got all the parts to make all the jewelry they want.
Yeah, and so they
Get on the ground floor then.
they think they netted 1.5 million that time.
God.
And the company was only insured for 900,000, so they went out of business.
Oh,
Like tons of people lost their jobs.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that company
yeah.
should have been insured for more.
Yeah, I mean, come
Probably
on.
wanted to keep their premiums down.
Yeah, and you got like one security guard around
Yeah,
there, so like,
want to keep their security
It says
premiums
a
down.
big sign says jewelry factory.
yeah, come on.
Oh, I got to get rid of that bumper sticker.
Rob us.
Yeah.
We keep our overhead low.
You can't even get in here.
Yeah, we too low, something wrong. There's
Is that a Billy Irish lyric?
No.
Jesus.
No, that was that thing. I remember somebody said the pilots' names, the Chinese pilots' names.
Yeah.
They sent them in, the
right.
newscasters were
Yeah.
reading them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wing too low.
We too low, something wrong. It was the newscasters are saying
Yeah.
it dead
Yeah.
serious. I think we played it on like a media
Yeah, it was-
episode.
I remember
real Ron
seeing the
Burgundy
pictures.
situation. Yeah.
But so there was this.
I don't get it.
Fuck you. Something wrong.
Can't believe they fucking read.
Now do two longs.
They make a white. That's
They make a
right. That's
white.
very good, Aaron. That's very
I'm
good.
on an island now.
You are. I'm sorry. I put you here.
Fuckboy Island.
Hey.
F-Boy Island.
Hey, they have a zip line.
Let me see here. So then there was, I mean, this the biggest thing that he ever did really was
Back those two sisters.
In my mind.
I believe it was in Kildare. There was a British conservative MP.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, fuck him. Retired in Ireland on like, this big estate. But he had, I mean, preposterous art collection.
Uh-huh.
And so you could tour
Oh,
the house
Art.
and see it. So yeah, he was going like all the time, probably bringing
I'm
one.
an art lover.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing one wife, bringing another,
Yeah.
whatever,
Did you hear with the other?
Yeah.
Did you hear with your wife? No, I wasn't.
And so he gets this thing where like he just keeps walking it, and he keeps seeing like the sensors, where the windows are weak, all that type of shit. And it was, very much known that there's, a lot of fucking like millions and millions and millions of dollars of paintings in here. There's a Goya,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? There's a fucking Vermeer or whatever. I think like privately owned Vermeers were like the Queen has one and like some other jackass, and you know what I mean?
Resident
Or this-
museums.
yeah. But so that one was like, I think like the real prize. I mean, the Goya is no slouch either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I did a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
But
Bananas, etc.
But yeah, he does this
Tons
thing
of
where he
things.
goes in and he like tapes up all the sensors. It triggers an alarm. They leave, and then they the butler has the Garda of the Irish police, Garda Síochána, Gardaí, they're also known as. They show up, and he's like, "Well, nothing's taken. We're all good." So then that dies down. Then they come back. Now they're not setting off any alarms, and they fucking quietly do a $30 million art heist.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
$30 fucking million.
Well, the question is, why should this member of parliament have that much money,
Well, yeah.
buy that much art?
Yeah,
he was probably rich and bought his,
Civil
yeah,
servant?
he's probably a lord or some shit.
yeah, he bought his way into parliament and then
okay.
retired in by
Usually, I get it confused sometimes because in our country, usually you get into Congress
and then
you get rich.
Yeah. Also,
Wow, man.
Also, you're doing it in Ireland
Yeah.
when the war is going on,
You're
and you're a
target on your back,
conservative
pal.
MP.
I don't think you should even be allowed to call the police if you're that guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously they're fucking. I mean, they're not doing great. The police, you
Yeah.
know.
No.
So yeah, that is a thing though, like the jewelry heist, where
30 million.
when we talk about the monetary value, that's when you can trade legally. When you cannot trade legally, you're dealing at an absolute fraction.
Right, exactly. The street value of that stuff is much lower because you have to fence it, and not a lot of street level people are in the market for Vermeers and Goyas. And
Yeah, and that guy won't even believe it's a Goya. He'd be like, nah, I've seen a Goya.
Right.
So like
to fence that is a whole other operation.
yeah, I mean, so like even with that jewelry heist, it probably netted like $200,000, even though they stole 1.5 mil.
Right.
With this, it's going to be even fucking worse. And he, this is a thing where like now, the cops are at first, I mean, Interpol is on this. Like, this is a thing where like the world is like this is a tragedy. Like these things are lost, and they think it's an international art heist ring. And then they're going like, I don't know, signs point to it's in-house, not literally, but an Irish gang.
Mm.
And this is like part of that thing where like, the South Side gang and the general and that stuff is like coming more and more. And they're like, now they're putting the fucking, the thing together about him going after the forensic expert, the jewelry heist, they know is him. And then like, now this thing happens and it's like a fucking national disgrace,
They have to be watching this guy.
Then they go into that mode and they form the
okay.
Tango Squad, they called them.
Tango Squad.
And it was like outright textbook police harassment.
Mm.
That was 24/7, stop and frisk everybody in the gang. So Tango 1 is Cahill, right?
Of course.
Then you go down the ladder of the organization, and the idea was like, just stop them doing anything else.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you want, once it goes there, some of his guys are gonna get a little swept up. They might make a wrong move. So he's losing some people because, they're just, like I said, stopping them whenever they want. They would sit next to them in pubs and like just be like, wait for them to fuck up. In response to this, Cahill
It's a third sister.
no, he starts letting like all of those guys on the Tango Squad know repeat their addresses to them.
Mm.
He starts they have to put the main guy under like 24-hour like armed surveillance, the lead
Yeah,
detective.
they're like tailing him, and the guy who's tailing him, he tails him to his own house.
Yeah. And in the midst of all this, like a thing he had done when he came up was he hated the Gardaí so much that he broke into their armory of confiscated weaponry and stole all the guns.
What?
And then put them back on, like he stole street guns and put them back
on the streets where they belong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they were born.
And
These are the people's guns.
And then adjoining that building is the Department of Public Prosecutions. He goes in and takes all the files on him and all his friends.
Oh, they didn't have backup.
Steals all that shit. These are all also completely seamless, violence-free burglaries. Like
Pretty cool.
And nobody knew. Like
Breaking into an armory is so hard.
breaking into the cops and getting their shit.
Your precious armory.
Yeah.
Gladly donated.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So now there's like 24-hour surveillance, and I'm talking about like not subtle,
Yeah.
like
We watching.
tailgating you, like that type of shit.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
Tailgating, fucking general.
bringing all your friends with you, ordering an extra beer for them.
So a thing he would do was he would go and get his dole every week as well. He's unemployed.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, the cops put him out of business. So.
And so a guy from RTE,
What's that?
that is the BBC of Ireland. I got to admire the fucking balls on this prick.
It's the hell of a sentence.
Because he goes up to him like, and he covers his face like this with his hand.
Who?
Martin.
Okay.
The other guys, his other friends, whatever, they all scatter and shit. They're all getting their dole too. It's £100 a week, whatever. He's living in a council house with Tina, But up the road, like a few hundred yards, but it's a completely different economic bracket. It's called Cowper Downs. And the rich one is called Cowper Downs. The poor one is called Swan Grove.
Mm-hmm.
This is how, like, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Swan.
Ain't no vista, ain't no view.
Yeah. You know the richest place is called Total Shithole. Or something like that. And the fucking poorest one is called fucking, Celestial fucking Gardens or
I'd
whatever.
love to be there.
There ain't no vista, there ain't no view, and there sure ain't no hell no vista, no damn view.
Shithole. Total shit.
Yeah.
We're total shithole adjacent.
Yeah. That's where I keep my Corvette.
So he proceeds to have a conversation with Martin Cahill on the street, covering his face the whole time.
Does he have a camera? Is that why he's covering his face?
Yeah.
Okay.
For like an hour. And he's telling him who's the general? And he goes, some fella in the army, I imagine, you know. And he goes, well, what about the 24-hour guard surveillance you're under here? And he goes, I never see them. Never see them. Now, meanwhile, he's actually still able to go out at night and do burglaries and shit, despite this, because he could go into somebody else's house, somebody else comes out dressed as him, like shit like that.
Yeah, the cops only think there's one sister.
Well, yeah.
He's the third.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's the other sister, too.
Oh, they have this one ugly sister.
Is that the Juliette Lewis movie?
That was a reference to that, yes.
Very good. You're tired.
But so that, like, now they think he's funny, right?
Yeah.
Now he's being mentioned in the Dáil, which is the Irish Parliament.
The Irish Parliament?
Yes. And
It's called the what?
the Dáil, DAIL.
Oh, okay.
And I think this one TDs or like MPs, members of parliament. This one TD said something like, this guy's got an $80,000 house and he's unemployed in Cowper Downs, and he goes like, maybe he's probably got like the wall space for all the fucking art he just stole.
Yeah.
So like everybody knows like all this shit's missing. Everybody's pissed. It's become like a national. So like that's like why like the cops are now spurned into like Operation Stop This Motherfucker, right? And so they start getting him on like small shit.
Incest.
And he starts talking to, reporters and shit like that. And then, like, if he's going to court for something small, he starts showing up in a ski mask and, like, wearing, like, a Mickey Mouse shirt and then pulling down his pants, and he's got Mickey Mouse boxers on and shit. And then he's like, he's like going like
Disney Corporation will get you for that.
One
time,
Fuck with the House of Mouse.
One time it's a Batman shirt.
Ooh,
very cool.
Fucking nice. Your precious armory.
And he had to cut the tags off that
You are the master.
that said the general on them.
Protect the sisters you love.
Yeah. One time he was up to this shit. This is how they described it. He's going like to like an Al Capone level now, because now it's like also the criminal you can't catch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Even though he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's silly, because like he would be sent for psychiatric evaluations. He appeared in a white nightshirt with the words "One flew over the cuckoo's nest" handwritten on the chest and back, wearing a mask topped off with a bird's nest strapped on his head. Questioned by the press as to whether he was really Dublin's leading criminal, he responded by blowing a duck decoy, asking a photographer if he was a chicken, pointing to a bicycle and asking if it was a boat, mounting it and pedaling off down the street, asking if it was the River Liffey.
Oh, very good.
So he's really fucking putting on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems pretty fun, you know? But, there's, the thing is that, what?
It's just so comic booky.
Yeah, well, how could he steal anything if he doesn't know what anything is?
Yeah.
He didn't steal paintings.
I thought they were fucking kazoos.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of kazoos in his house.
But he had like this kind of like ethos when he's talking to reporters, which is, you know,
Cool.
whatever. He was going like, he said, he's like, he said to one, he's like, you don't want to talk to me about crime, do you? You know, of course they do.
Say.
And
He's there, pal.
And he was going, unemployment is a crime. He goes, the wages they pay young people is a crime. And when he got, you know, notoriety on TV, they cut off his welfare. And he picked up the guy that was in charge of that department and kneecapped him, had him shot in the knees.
Oh my God.
And then he sent a postcard to the hospital that said, the general prognosis is good.
Oh.
And so he got his welfare back?
I don't think so. But he would talk about like hating like these faceless people that were like he saw as like the face of enshrining poverty that he grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That he had to steal for food and stuff like that.
Right.
Like he didn't say this, but I mean like that's what I imagine.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, that's armchair psychologizing, but I think it's reasonable to voice that upon him. I think that's fine. But also his dad was a fucking drunk and he had 14 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's a lot of food.
It's hard to pull yourself up by your bootstraps when you're eating your bootstraps.
Yeah.
Pulling yourself out of your mouth.
But yeah, so he gets into this thing then where he's like, you know, he doesn't know how to sell these paintings, right? It's not his scene, you know? Like I said, even the jewelry was hard to move, and it was moved at a fraction of the cost. And this is such like a fucking, you know, a hot button thing, but he's able to suss out very quickly when somebody is you know, posing as like, you know, a fucking art dealer, but is really Interpol or whatever. And one time he gets a guy out in the Dublin woods where he's buried them. And it is the paintings, and it's an undercover. And there's like all these like people around, but it's a huge forest, you know what I mean? And he takes the guy up, and the guy has there's a plane overhead, so it has a tracker on the guy that is posing as the buyer. And he takes the paintings out, and he's got a flashlight that, like, when you tap it to turn it on, it sends a signal. Right. So then, like, they were all, like, supposed to be activated, like, 50 undercover guardie in the area, and, like, all their fucking walkie-talkies broke down.
All of them?
Yeah. Like,
did he have a fucking EMP?
Yeah.
He got it from he took it from the armory.
Then he felt like the guy started talking louder, and he was like, "All right, yeah."
He starts talking into his shirt pin.
Yeah, he's saying like weird phrases.
Yeah, Abra,
abracadabra,
and
abra,
cadabra.
It's what everybody's saying.
Yes, abracadabra.
Yes.
But he gets on a motorbike. Gets the fuck out of there. Huge fucking climb down for the cops. They're like, well, it's very hard to organize. You know, you can't search a forest even with 50 fellas. It's you know, it's hard.
It's going to take at least 3 or 4 days. Forest.
Yeah, so they just left the undercover up there and they never found him again.
He'll find his way out.
But so now, like, think about it. Like, this is the guy you can see several times on TV. Every time he's getting arrested and still nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to believe the charges at that point.
Yeah, and now like you've swayed public opinion, which he had already done, like obviously in the ghetto. But now we're kind of doing it nationally, and now they see you as this kind of guy where they're kind of like there is like a little bit of an Irish attitude of enjoying the chancer.
Yeah,
the chancer. Yeah,
the chancer. You know what I mean?
The Donald Trumpiness of it.
Yeah, and a lot of times they have that kind of attitude too, Irish people, where they hate the bureaucrats and you know shit like that. But where he's gonna start going wrong here is with offloading these paintings. It turns out that the UVF, the Ulster Volunteer Force, the Protestant, pro-British military, paramilitary, were interested in getting them and then selling them to somebody else who would, in exchange for the paintings, would give them a bunch of weapons from a bunch of racist sons of bitches in South Africa.
Cool.
Yeah, the good company, the UVF.
Like they couldn't get shit from England?
No, you got to get it from a racist.
Yeah, okay.
It hits different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But so that obviously you're a Dublin criminal, and then it is thought that he had organized maybe a safe house for some of them to come down and do this deal. And while they were also doing the deal, they decided, oh, hey, there's a Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA, fundraiser at this bar. The UVF team decides, let's bomb it. We should bomb that.
Hey, while we're here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Stop in for a couple of brews.
Yeah. And
Then we'll bomb it.
And then we'll buy some paintings.
so
On the cheap.
yeah. Discount, baby. And they're going into the bar to bomb it. And the doorman is an IRA guy, Martin Doherty. And Doherty senses something's wrong, won't let them in. So they just kill him on the spot. And then they fucking leave. Shoot him to death. So now, word is going to get back that it's because of Martin Cahill. And you don't want to go there. In the meantime, one of his underlings had supposedly raped like a young girl that was the daughter of an INLA guy.
Uh-oh.
So, I think Martin Cahill was accused of trying to bribe or intimidate the family into not pressing charges. So that was another beef that's then sitting there. But like I said, because of Operation Tango, and because of the wonderful work of James Donovan, the forensic psychologist, he's now dealing with kind of third tier guys. He's not dealing with the good old boys. You know what I mean? So you have some sketchier underlings, and that makes doing good work harder to do.
Yeah. They've arrested all the good operators under him.
Right. So he's still, having a lot of, sway and everything, but he's, and he's still loving planning jobs,
Do you love?
But, and the stubbornness of sticking to it is kind of a thing that's, of course, incredibly Irish. But when those, that abysmal tenement that he met his wife in was getting bulldozed, he was the lone holdout that wouldn't fucking leave. And he was going oh, they fucking scattered all my friends all over the city. And he's like, I was really proud of this, but I love this place, And then they fucking knocked it out, and he still came in. And they said first he built a place out of the rubble and stayed in that. And
Swan Lake.
And then they knocked that away. They took that away. And then
Taj Mahal.
then he came back with a trailer and stayed in the trailer. Then they burned the trailer.
Oh my God.
And then he fucking pitched a tent. And the Lord Mayor of Dublin had to come down and talk to this guy.
Excuse me.
What's your problem?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
The mayor and the general talking in a tent.
I think I outrank you, sir.
But you know what I mean? He's a fucking real peculiar character. But it was there's so much rebelliousness and a thing of sorry, just fuck you. And he really enjoyed exposing the Gardaí for being as low as criminals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when they began this thing of harassment, like I said, he started targeting them too. He didn't do anything. Like he would say he was going to go after their families, but he wouldn't fucking do that. He actually treasured family. He loved family, and he had 5 kids with Francis and 4 with Tina.
Aww.
You love family so much.
He made 2 into 1.
Don't you think that's nice, Aaron? It's less than 15, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can feed him with 1 painting.
Oh,
It's true.
if you can sell it, or you can actually just feed them
You
the
can feed
painting.
him. Here's some Goya for you.
Some Goya for you. Normally, it's garbanzo beans, the chickpeas, the pintos. It's actually just lead paint on acrylic.
It's a still life.
Oh, God. Eat your vegetables and fruits now.
Yeah, God. I mean,
He got the sisters pregnant 9 times.
Yeah.
That is fucking really cool. But I mean, like, that's so much time.
Not stealing.
Like, so much downtime for those ladies. I guess he probably alternated.
they said that was like the route through the day. It was like going house to house.
That makes sense.
And they're not far apart.
Yeah, the cops are like, well, here he goes.
Yeah, it's going to be there for 30, 40 minutes.
So he talks about like after like the TV thing broke, and he goes, I thought, good Jesus, so much for keeping things quiet. But his attitude was, can I break? Can you get me? And you can't. I'm not afraid. There's nothing you can do to get me. I'll go down the lowest. I'll go down so low that the only way left is back up. The only thing is, I can't bow down to you. I'd rather be dead, so I'll just make fun of you. If you annoy me, I'll make fun of you. I'll react, but I won't attack, and I'll keep smiling. So that's kind of like, it shows like his like public persona. And he's always like still in shitty clothes and shit. Like he's
Well, you can't steal a painting in a nice suit.
And he's kind of, I mean, like this tango operation is no joke, and he's still like doing burglaries and robberies, and he's sometimes he's going into court with like Groucho glasses on and shit like that, doing that thing. Judge is furious.
Well, because they didn't get the right guy.
Clearly.
And his face is all
The
over.
guy from Digital Underground doing the Humpty dance, making a mockery of this courtroom.
Oh, we got Interpol the band here?
Oh, God. It's fucking LCD sound system.
And he never sues for like over harassment or libel or anything. You know what I mean? And he's like, I don't want them to think that they're getting to me. He does like a 4-month stint over something small. And he goes, I don't mind going to prison if it's not for long. He goes, it's like catching up with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he
That's exactly what it is. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It is that.
Hey, so what you been up to? Prison?
Huh.
And so he's like, he thinks basically the police are maybe going to try to like get him into a situation where they can just shoot him.
Smart.
Yeah.
Spade.
And
Did you say David Spade?
Yeah, under my breath.
Just shoot me.
oh yeah.
Under my breath, so
So stupid.
So he does this fucking stupid job where he targets CEO of a bank, kidnaps his family.
Okay, yep,
Good,
you can't do
good.
that.
And he takes me to this place where there's this guy who's already kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
In there.
The kidnap place.
The family is like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I've been here 2 weeks. And, and they're like, what the fuck?
I
And
so, saw my arm off to get off this bathtub.
He asked me if I had any sisters.
so they're like, they're like, they send the guy into the bank. He's supposed to like, withdraw millions of dollars from the bank. He can only get out $300,000. And he's sent in with, the 2-week-old, kidnapping.
The guy smells like shit.
And,
Plus, I farted.
And then like they get like the $300,000. They're all let go. The three of them go to the cops and are like, here's what happened or whatever. And the fucking guy that was in for 2 weeks, this guy Kavanaugh. And they immediately see that he was collecting dole checks while he said he was kidnapped. So they're like, "Oh, this is the general's inside man."
Yeah,
who's like supposed
tell
to
you it is Saw.
It's
supposed to build trust and shit.
Yeah.
So they're immediately like, "Okay, you're under arrest, you fucking idiot."
Shit.
Can you imagine the Saw movies if the voice had an Irish accent?
I want to play a game now.
Nadav sent me a fucking tweet somebody did where they go, they're like, Saw if it was British, and somebody wakes up in a Saw trap. Right, what's all this then?
Right. Jason Statham in Saw.
But so he's then him and this dude Kavanaugh get together and they're like, all right, let's have you get shot in the leg and say it was part of that kidnapping gang to like throw their scent off or whatever. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. But the guy was like down for it.
What if we cut your balls off to say he loved doing that?
And so
some guys do.
So with his like underlings at the time, there was a guy Gilligan, and this other guy they called the coach, and
the skipper too.
And they all together they build a radio.
It's thought that maybe that they wanted to edge out Martin in leadership, and they maybe might have passed information to the IRA that he was getting involved in heroin dealing. His brother was later prosecuted for heroin dealing.
Well, when you have that many siblings.
But Martin in his many media interviews also would detest drugs. You know what I mean? And I kind of buy it too.
Well, he'd say that's a cat when they showed him drugs.
Yeah. Like, what's all this then?
I love cats.
Yeah. But he woke up at Tina's, Swan Grove.
Yeah.
Little sister.
Cry, little sister.
On this day in 1994, and there was a couple of guys.
Good guys.
Two guys. And they were just like kind of like city workers. And they pulled up to him on a motorcycle, and they had
city workers.
Yeah.
But one of them holding the other guy's chest.
Yeah.
Hi.
They
We're with the city.
They both have construction outfits on.
Yeah, they're both the guy in the YMCA. They're both village persons.
Yeah.
We're with the village people.
Reflective vests, all that shit.
That's
and
it.
the guy had a fucking 357 Magnum, and just lit up Martin.
Lit him up.
Lit him up. Head, torso, 357 Magnum, like 5 times.
Oh, so you got holes the size of
and this one guard was like, I was like a fucking minute away, and he goes, and the witness said like the guy went in, checked him, super calm, like made sure he was dead, got on the bike, got the fuck out of there. And the guard was like, I'm looking at this fucking guy that has been like consuming all of our lives every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going like, Jesus Christ. And the witness said, he goes, I went up, and I looked, and I checked, and he was brown bread. Like rhyming slang for dead?
Yeah. Apples and pears.
It's fun. It's fun when you can kind of make that a little.
That rhyming slang thing is so weird to me.
It is weird.
Obviously.
Like, we're all just supposed to know.
I know.
No, you're not supposed to know the people who know.
Certainly not in that situation. You want to say he was brown bread. You want to.
It's kind of funny.
It is funny, and a lot of people said like, oh, he would have thought it was funny.
Cool.
But so the theory is that either those guys underneath him push that to the IRA. There's another theory too that the IRA is now about to go on ceasefire. And maybe they wanted a bigger stake in the criminal underworld in Dublin.
Oh, okay.
And but the official thing was, at first the INLA claims responsibility, and then the IRA is like, "No, we did it." And
Prove
like,
it.
and they're like calling back and forth to radio stations, and like I think the IRA finally was like, it was a 357 Magnum.
Yeah.
We had on like orange vests, like they were going like,
I'll give you their names.
The leather guy was on the moped behind them.
yeah.
The Native American guy was up in the trees.
Yeah, the puppet was on the tricycle. He came out.
And he was thinking he was fixing on playing a game.
I'm here to play a game with you. It's only a game.
Right. Jason.
Take your choice.
Jason Statham coming out of the bathtub.
Well, so we're saying.
Boy.
And yeah, so the IRA was just like their official version was he sold these paintings to the fucking UVF. Then he like made accommodations for them when they were down here.
They killed
an IRA guy, and he's got to go. But they were also saying like it was just like the walls were closing in. Like the ILA were like, oh, we thought we actually did it because we had given the order to do it to our guys. So like we thought fucking
we were getting to it
because of the situation with the girl.
Right.
And then also like, you know, like, yeah, like I said, like, you know, like the guys that were in that surviving crew then like began to be like much nastier, drug kingpins and violent.
So the good guys were locked up.
Solid guys. Yeah.
I mean, let's not call them good guys.
Better
guys. Yes.
marginally better.
Yeah. But yeah, so then the general, you know, is the basis of Ordinary Decent Criminal. It was Kevin Spacey. Then the general, the movie called The General is Gleason playing him. Does an amazing job.
Kyle Gleason. No, it's not Kyle.
Brendan,
that's right.
Yeah,
Donald.
Donald's that. And he, the director of that, actually won Best Director at Cannes for that movie. It's a very good movie, and it's mostly, you know, way more accurate than Ordinary Decent Criminal, at least anyway. And some of the underlings that would go on to be involved in the murder of Veronica Guerin, which is also a movie. But yeah, there was a huge lasting impact in Dublin crime from this guy and like the world he built up. And there was these Sunday tabloids that were always just having to use nicknames to talk about them while I was still there, even though, you know, fucking the general died in 94. I moved there in 99, and there was still like fallout happening from it. With much nastier characters, like I said.
Yeah.
But he's just a truly fascinating guy, man. Like, I mean, fucking full-blown weirdo.
The sister thing is weird.
Yeah.
I won't get over that.
No, that's certainly weird.
It's not the weirdest thing.
No. I think the weirdest thing is just like the courting of a disaster by really going after.
Like I have to compulsively do this.
Yeah.
And but what I find interesting is I am methodical. You know, they call me the general because I'm rehearsing every beat of this down.
Yeah.
To the turn of the corner, then what happens? Just calling it out, like directing a stage play or a read through it. But like you're not
doing it with the broad strokes, shall we say?
No, well, let's say like, hey, well, try stealing shit you can fence.
Yeah.
Try not stealing unmistakable originals.
Yeah.
Of irreplaceable artifacts. Like,
yeah.
Well, all you
steal money.
All you see is
jewels are a good start, but like,
yeah,
Rembrandt's.
Well, cash is best, right?
Yes.
Like, it's money.
Yes.
There's no need for offense.
Nope.
It's money, you know. But I think, the price tag, like that crew, I think thought like, this is our retirement. You know, I think they thought like,
but instead they sold it at what? 10%?
Yeah. There was fucking nothing they could do.
They sold it at 10% of its value.
I mean, it could just be that the act of stealing is the thing.
I don't even think it was 10%.
And the fencing is an afterthought where they go, oh fuck, right, we have to get rid of this. The act of the stealing is,
and specifically with that kind of,
is probably what he goes. What's the biggest thing we can steal? All these paintings, and doesn't think about what he's going to do afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in that one he just realized like, oh, I don't know who buys this shit.
Yeah.
And with art theft, it's like
You're supposed to
Other
set that up.
MPs.
You set that up beforehand,
yeah.
but he clearly didn't. He just wanted to.
He did a
take
thing where he was clearly trying to sell it back to the same guy, and the guy was like, "No, we're not doing any." He's like calling like, "No, I'm a private detective, and I think I
found a Goya.
Yeah, I think I know those guys. Maybe.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, I got it.
If you know those guys, call the cops. Yeah.
he's like. So, I don't know. I'm really entertained by him. I do recommend the movie big time with Gleason. It's fucking incredible. But yeah, he's a rare. I mean, you cannot talk about Irish crime without talking about the general. He's like far and away like the most exciting character. Like without question. And there's this thing too of like. It's not. It's handled with so much humor and you know, there was a thing in Dublin where they started going after the drug dealers real hard because like the slums of Dublin were hit very hard by heroin, and this one guy, the parents. Like cornered this dealer and they got like too like caught up in the moment and they threw the guy off the roof.
Parents of
yeah. And he broke his back.
Oh.
But he kept
had all that heroin.
But he kept selling. And they started calling him Deals on Wheels.
No.
Yeah. And like when all that anti-drug stuff started popping up, and it became basically like a veil, like a public relations veil for the IRA to still shoot drug dealers without breaking ceasefire. And I think like Cahill started like kind of like a counter protest, like being like. That with guys at signs that said ordinary decent criminals.
Wow.
Because he was just going like, I'm not a part of that.
Yeah.
I'm not into that drug shit. He goes, I'm just a regular fucking
trying to make it my own in the world today.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why like the legend really grew.
Yeah.
You know, it was
I'm not
like
part of these groups.
well, like also like
Except for the bed I sleep in.
heists are exciting, you know?
Yeah.
There were other things where he tried to like keep a lower profile. He tried to get into some protection rackets and stuff like that. I think he was shaking down hot dog cart guys for a while.
It's not right.
No. Good guys.
Boy, you don't like falafel?
But just a real maniac, and the craziness of like hiding your face but talking to a reporter for an hour.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
They'll never find me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm crazy hand on his face guy. What's he doing?
yeah, and then you know, the public appearances later, just like I said, became crazier and crazier with the Mickey Mouse boxers, and when he does that, it's really funny because you see like he's immediately taken into custody the minute he drops his trousers.
Yeah.
They're like, we're putting you under arrest for decent exposure or something like that. You're like, he's let out like 3 minutes
And
later.
copyright.
Yeah.
The Disney corporations hold a lot to swear on these parts now, Mr. Cahill.
So they said when they buried him, or when they had his funeral, it was like, you know, in the Swan Grove, you know, like area, like it was in the ghetto. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And all the family were started singing "Que Sera Sera" over his body, and then the priest was like, delivers this like, you know, mass kind of where he's going like, don't seek revenge for this, like, you know, the live by the sword, die by the sword, whole kind of like thing, and they come out, and there's like a camera crew outside, and these ladies go by and they go, "It was a lovely mass." And then one of the cops that used to track him comes out and he goes up the same camera and goes, "He was a right mean bastard."
Out of respect.
But I don't see a ton of evidence that he was a right-mean bastard. But also, you never fucking know. You know?
I mean, if you people he dealt with,
Sounded
the
like he
people
was
he
a tender
hired.
lover.
Huh?
Sounded like he was a tender lover.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the General Martin Cahill, the legendary, inspired. I mean, multiple fucking movies. It's crazy.
Yeah, Buster Keaton. Yeah.
Haven't seen any of those motion pictures.
You really should see the General. Very, very good. I love Gleason. I don't know about you.
I do.
Yeah.
I love him in Paddington 2.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I know. I'm fucking up.
I haven't seen Paddington 2.
Wow.
You haven't lived.
Bro. It's perfect.
Yeah. I remember my dad telling me about this guy and being like, oh, that fucking sounds crazy. And then when I lived over there, of course, I learned a lot more. It was one of those things people were like, you haven't seen the movie? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
If it's anything Irish, you have
Yeah.
to have seen it.
The Commitments.
Yeah. But, I mean, a total head case and clearly, like, the most successful thief in the world. I was on a kind of an art thief kick because Hyena Gallery was doing a bunch of posts about those. And then I just remembered in my head, I was like, oh, it was fucking art that fucking brought down
The General.
the General. So I was like, let's look at the General again. And so I did a dive on that.
Very nice.
That's wonderful. I had no idea who this guy was.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a wild man, dude. Real wild man.
But it all does fit. So I don't mean to keep going, but
No, go ahead.
it does fit with that, like, the UK-ness of the
Well, the British...
fetishization of the criminal and like wearing a mask in public and being on a tabloid and saying like, I'm crazy, I do it anyways, is very I mean, I guess we did it here with John Gotti
Mm-hmm.
and Al Capone.
Yeah, and England had the craze.
Yeah.
That was like the twin brothers, remember them?
Right.
There's been like 4 movies made about them as well.
Yeah.
And they were fucking mean bastards.
Was it the Tom Hardy? That wasn't the Tom Hardy one.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, it was?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, now we do it here with just murder in general.
Yeah. It was just
But yeah, like the fucking like I remember I was over there when one of the craze died. He was like an old man, lived, vicious bastard. Like hundreds of thousands of people at the funeral. You're like, what are you doing, you idiots?
I could have been next.
Yeah. If only we'd been kinder. Yeah. I enjoyed this, boys. I hope you
What a
did.
tight little tail there.
Yes,
John.
that was very, very nice.
Should we get out of here?
We should.
All right. I'm going to say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Represent.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.